a lot within ourselves. We found that when we are playing Joust, we do get a good team fight coordination going. So then when we take us three and throw that into Conquest after, a good couple of games, we're like, oh yeah, we can 3v5 because we know how to manage ourselves and we know where to place ourselves in these certain predicaments. And so it translates very well. I mean, each game mode has its respective capabilities, except for Arena.
Except for Arena. You only play Arena to be a pleb.
You play Arena for that is the casual game mode.
It really is.
You could be so high and so drunk and still win.
We've seen it.
Although for those who do go high and drunk in Conquest and in Joust, props to you. You messed it. You messed it.
I'm just waiting for ranked Arena.
Oh my god! Don't you even start with that.
No. We don't talk about that.
We do not talk about that. Give us one moment, just 1 second. I think I'm getting some technical difficulties. 1 second. Alrighty, we're back. Apologies, we just wanted to make sure that the stream was still working.
We had a small technical difficulty.
Yeah,
on Facebook, that's the main one. But anyway.
So, before we continue on, I know that we just touched a little bit on the new Joust map. Choking wanted to talk a little bit more about the new Season Pass that was coming out.
Yeah, so Season Pass seems to be something that, to my knowledge, they've never done before. It's coming out, I believe, the 28th of January.
So when this whole new thing is releasing, the Season 7 new patch is coming out on the 28th of January this month.
And the Season Pass will be on that as well. So what you get for that is you're going to be getting all the new gods that will be coming out in Season 7.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have the Ultimate God Pack, or whatever it's called these days, that's what it was when I first joined, you'll get all those. But if you already have that, then it's a little bit underwhelming. But you're still getting 1,000 gems. You're still getting the recolor skins for all 7 of those gods. You're also getting an exclusive recolor skin for each one of those gods that is only available from the Season Pass. You're getting the voice packs for all the new releases, as well as the wave and clap emotes. The other thing that's specific to this is there's a pretty dope looking Zeus skin.
Oh yeah,
that skin. Zeus skin looks.
Well, we normally used to like to go into our cosmetics a little bit later, just to kind of be like, am I gonna buy that? Absolutely. No, there's no way I'm not passing up on these skins. I mean, I've already got the the title for purchasing all the season pass from season 6, so I ain't gonna break that streak.
But seriously, all the skins for this new update look dope as all hell. So.
I know there's been some controversy over the new Soul skin.
Oh yeah, being an actual human instead of
they're a lot of the community. So props to the artists who went out to make this design. This design I think was the best looking one that I've ever seen for Soul. I like the energy based ones, but I mean there's not a whole lot you can do with that. The fact that they made her human and the fact they made her like a spellcaster of that type, that's awesome. You know, but I'm not gonna. I don't want to get in too far with the skins. Like I said, that's right at the end of the show. But for that one, people were complaining because she didn't have enough. She didn't have the big breast proportions that a lot of the Smite characters has, as well as I guess the butt as most people were looking at. So they were saying that she's a washboard character that has no appeal to it whatsoever.
That's the only reason I play female characters on Smite.
Oh, good. At least we have one of those characters, one of those people on the show. Me, on the other hand, I think that god, the way that they went with that skin was absolutely amazing. I liked it. It looked really arcane-esque. Like if Soul was a magic user, that definitely I could see it like that.
Almost like a hell sort of look.
Right. Yeah, it completely almost crossed over to almost another character. So I liked it.
They have plenty of skins that look like that do the crossover kind of thing.
Be careful
but...
if your hell doesn't have a skin and your soul does. If you're on the opposing team, you will not know what's going to hit you.
So we touched a little bit on some skins. Let's go into the new Conquest updates that they're putting into. Because now we're starting to be a little bit more Conquest oriented. We're going to start, you will see, hopefully we'll start getting a little bit more prominent in the tourneys. Hello, Pricey. Hopefully we'll be a little bit more prominent in some of the tournaments that they have on the Smite communities. We're going to keep trying to get in there. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to participate due to our own personal lives in invading most of our time.
Yes,
we're usually online from the night, so we do try to stream, but from the past couple months, we haven't been able to do so as effectively as we'd like.
Yeah.
So, moving into the Conquest, the invade meta. How many times have we seen that? Or how many times have we done it ourselves? Not bots.
We've done it more than we've seen it. It hasn't super affected casual games in my experience.
Yeah, I've seen it only like once, maybe twice in casual.
It's definitely a much bigger thing in the SPL, as for anyone that doesn't watch the Smite Pro League, the support rotates to the opposing yellow buff usually to kind of have a 1v1 versus the enemy jungler.
The main choice for that usually is a Hercules due to the sustain that he has, as well as the ability damage that he brings, just as a...
But even regardless, the support can fight from a level or a couple levels down, half a level at that stage. That's much more detrimental for that jungler to be losing that farm.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I mean, like, how many times have we seen that? I mean, I've hardly ever seen it. The more times that I've tried to do it, I've ended up falling flat on my ass, not completing it. The jungler still gets his yellow, and I'm like, well, great. Now I got to go back and go get my yellow, or what did I lose out on farm?
One game where we did have a success with that, and it was quite notable.
Yeah,
the 5 assassin rush.
Oh yes, the 5 assassin bullcrap.
5 assassin.
If you look up on Smite Guru or Smite Stats, I don't care, you will see comps that have won games. We are a part of the 1 or 2% that have won a 5 assassin comp in Conquest. It has worked.
It works. For some god-awful reason, it works.
Loki mid, Surcat support, Ratatasker carry, and I think, was it a Thanatos solo?
I think it was Thanatos solo.
And then someone else. Who was the carry? Or the jungle?
Was it Nemesis?
It might have been Nemesis. It might have been a Willix. I can't remember exactly who it was. But
yeah, no, but all that
it
just
for some reason works.
I think the Loki was the jungler.
No, Loki was mid lane.
Yeah, I was playing Loki mid lane.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, not only were they trying to reduce the yellow invade meta by increasing or decreasing the spawn times for some of the buffs that they have going on, so that way things start popping up. So I think the yellow and the purple are going up at the same time.
Yeah, they're both going up at 20 seconds.
That way the duo lane support doesn't rotate. Yeah, so that the duo lane doesn't try to rotate over and try to gank the yellow, as we've seen done in Worlds.
Duo will have an objective to focus on in the very beginning versus just sitting in lane doing absolutely jack.
And same with solo lane.
Yeah, exactly.
Then afterwards, everything else is going to go from there. But they are also recommending or implementing a couple of new items that are going to help with yellow invade, or with reducing invade meta. And we'll get to those in just a moment. But they are including some new additions to the map of Conquest, as in the Jungle Shrine, which will implement. So if you have a jungler who is a late game oriented, who is like needs to farm, can't do well like early to mid game, I would say probably like a set type character who is, good on the early ganks, but right in mid game he starts to fall off, and then late game just comes back and smacks like a semi. he wants to be doing something in the mid game. So with these jungle shrines, every camp you clear or every camp on your side of the jungle, even if your own allies clear a camp, it'll give you about 5 gold per 3 minion.
Per 3 minion kills, it gives a stack to the jungle shrine. Every stack you take.
And that'll stack up to about 7.
Did they say? I think they said 8.
I saw 7.
Did they say 7? Oh, yeah, they said 7. And so each time you attack the jungle shrine with a basic attack, you'll get one of those stacks, which is 5 gold each stack.
Now, the
up to about 40 gold.
interesting thing to note about that is that only works. The basic attack thing only happens once it goes to 3. So your first basic attack clears 1 chalice, second clears a second, and third clears the remainder. So it only takes you 3 basics to clear all of it, regardless of whether it's 3 or whether it's 7.
If you're not ganking your lanes, if you're not ganking duo, if you're not ganking mid, if you're not pressuring solo lane, this is what you should be hitting. Because there is no reason why you shouldn't be walking, because it's going to be right between yellow buff and mid harpies, or the side harpies, right between blue and yellow. This thing is going to be sitting right smack dab in the middle. If you can't walk around and hit 3 basic attacks on this thing and then go get your camp and then go and supply everything out, don't play jungle. This is literally like one of the easiest things you can do to help out your team if you're not ganking. You might as well give them some 40 extra gold every single time you're clearing, every time you're rotating around clearing your waves.
Now, keep in mind that this doesn't work if you do an invade on a camp.
But it gives you half progress.
You're not getting that token.
Correct. And you cannot attack the enemy jungler's shrine.
Yeah, you can't attack the shrine on the opposite side of the map. You can only attack your own. And if you're invading, you only get half progress on stacks into the jungle shrine.
Also, mid harpies on the fire giant side do not count towards that.
Yeah, you have to make sure that well, that's only because it's 2 anyways, but because it's on fire side, that's a huge neutral camp. It's not going to apply to it. So make sure you're keeping an eye out on that.
All right, speaking of harpies, we have extra harpy camps on gold fury side of the jungle now. You have mid harpies on gold fury side have been split up into 2 new camps.
So rather than having a lane going through on the left-hand Gold Fury side, now that's going to be completely closed off all the way over to Gold Fury. So you're now going to have to walk around the oracles to get to mid lane if you're ganking jungler side. Mid lane is going to be able to cover itself fairly well in this side, not have to worry about the risk of being ganked so much. But now you can just place a ward all the way back in your oracles just to make sure they can't, come and grab you. So you still want a ward on your side on the fire giant, but I mean, it's going to be a lot harder for the ganks to happen.
A specifically red buff invade coming from mid lane a lot more difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to help out the mid laners a little bit more. Not only giving them some extra gold from those harpies, but to, there's a lot of things that happen with mid lanes that will easily cost you the game. If you're not winning these small victories, as I stated in the update show, you're not winning your entire game. Conquest is a series of small victories that leads you to the grand victory. If you're not getting those small victories early game, you're pretty much losing at that point.
Speaking of small victories, something to note on those 2 mid harpy camps is that they're no longer elder harpies like the fire giant side. Those are remaining elder harpies, but the harpies coming in on the mid side are actually going to be 2 small harpies.
Okay, I mean that would make sense because they would have to split that experience between those 2 elder harpies and then split them up into 2 minors.
So each camp consists of 2 small harpies,
which hopefully for our mid laners out there is going to be able to progress a little bit easier,
boost them a little bit, all that fun stuff.
Oh yeah,
they're also adding 2 new harpy camps on the dual lane. So
which this is a little bit. This has gotten us a little bit to talking because they said that this is going to help duo lane. However, we ran the math on the XP of a minion wave compared to the XP that this alpha harpy is going to give you. So the base health of this 100 doesn't have any magical or physical protections. It's got a 24.
It has 8 magical.
Oh, it does. I'm sorry. 8 physical, 6 magical. It's got a base power of 24, and it will reward you with 35 gold and a base XP of 40.
Now, to put that in perspective, the new Elder Harpy, so they're getting a slight HP buff. They're going to have 1 more of each protection, but they're also only having 485 health. So this is
exponentially tankier.
like 33%-ish more tanky than that, and it has significantly less XP and gold associated with it than if you clear a mid-camp.
Mm-hmm.
Also, during the stream, they said that this isn't going to be something you can take early game.
Yeah. No, you definitely don't want to take this.
It's designed to keep support in lane, which we'll get more into later.
Yeah.
But you're going to want probably support and ADC clearing it when you attempt in the early-ish part of the game. It's supposed to be about on par difficulty to clear as the oracles.
It's basically going to be the same amount as 2 archers experience-wise. I mean, this is not something you're going to want to rush into killing. It's, as I was telling Troking earlier, I think more or less this is kind of like a damage. It's like a damage test. Be like, okay, if I can kill this thing pretty easily, I think I'm okay to rotate mid lane and try to gank him, try to push mid lane up a little bit easier.
Besides that, it's also just kind of a small supplement to try to keep more people in the duo lane.
Right, and I don't even know what the respawn timer on it was anyways. Maybe like another 45 seconds to a minute.
I think it's going to be the same as mid Harpies.
Okay.
Either that or it might be a little bit earlier.
So, next up on ours is the Totem of Coup. So they are now implementing a tier system for every time you grab it. So each time...
It used to be base 10 MP5, right?
I believe so, yes.
So it used to be whenever you got it at the beginning of the game, 10 MP5. When you got it at 15 minutes, 10 MP5. Now they're changing it so that...
The first time you get it is 10 MP5. The second time is 20.
It's between minute 0 and
15.
5. And then from 5 to 10, then 10 to 15 is the tiers.
Correct. So you want to... It's giving you more of a incentive to grab this totem, as well as increasing the MP5 in your towers. For those of you who still don't know what Totem of Coup is, I had to relearn it this morning. Did not realize that the Totem of Coup actually empowered... I always thought it empowered the shots the tower made, rather than actually it gives you an MP5 mana supplement inside the ring of the empowerment. So wherever you see the tower light up, you stand inside, you gain your mana back. I think that's pretty... And you get a +5 movement speed inside. So use that to your advantage out there, guys.
And it lasts for 10 seconds outside of tower. As long as you're inside the tower, it lasts for as long as the tower has it. But once you step out, it lasts for 10 seconds. And then you have to step back in the tower to get the buff again.
So now that we hit a little bit on the conquest side, we're not going to do almost everything because there is a lot to talk about. We do have a tier list that we want to go through when we're talking about the god balances. So the first thing we want to talk about that's a little bit... So they're trying to keep the support in the duo lane. This has been the issue because the support normally isn't... It's in that awkward phase where they're saying, like, you leave duo alone to go on a boxing fight and support rotates mid, and...
It really confuses casual players because that's what SPL does. They take their support character and they rotate like 5-10 minutes in.
Yep.
And casual players are like, well, if that's what the meta in Pro League is, then we got to do it too, right? Well, it doesn't always work. Don't
mimic the Pro League unless you know how to do it for sure. Because all you're going to do is you're going to cost your game and your team loss because you tried doing a strategy that you were not prepared to take.
Yeah, you cost your carry a lot of his protections because most of the time whenever you have a support rotate, the enemy support doesn't rotate. So you just have a 2v1 in the duo lane and carry can't do that.
Support's breathing down your carry's neck and you're trying to help out mid lane and you get pinged to death saying, thanks, you rock, cancel that. You know, it all breaks our hearts when that happens. I mean, how many times, Mark, has your carry blamed you for not being there?
Frequently.
Yeah.
Frequently. Unless we're the carry, then we know what's happening and we can deal with it.
If the support rotates, do not overextend as the carry because you probably have a 2v1. And you look super tasty. Jungler's probably rotating if they're not already engaged in a mid something or other.
And at that point, you're going to get a 3v1.
You've got a 3v1 with a support that probably has some decent CC, so you're going to get locked down, you're going to get destroyed. So,
and then you can't do anything, and then your enemy carry is going to be popping off later in the game, and you're still farming.
Unless you are in a extreme state where you are so fat that you can successfully 2v1 or 3v1, which is not.
We're looking at the current Heimdall. Current Heimdall is just overpowered, which is why. All right, we're not going to go into that just yet. We're going to go into items.
To keep the support in duo lane, they have readjusted the Guardian Blessing. And this, Mark, as a support, how vital is the current Guardian's Blessing to your build?
I build it every time. It gives you additional gold income, because you're usually not last hitting the minions, so you're not getting that extra buff. And
I hate the Guardians who do.
Unless you're Ganesh, then you just throw them at the carry.
Unless you're Ganesh.
If you're Ganesh, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yes. Ganesh's passive, any kills that he gets, including minion and or buff.
We've tested this. We've extensively tested this.
You will stack Thebes on yourself by yourself.
As long as someone's within your aura, your passive aura.
No, it'll go to minions. The minions will take the kills. And don't you remember we tested that? In lane by yourself. If you are Ganesh and you are stacking up gauntlets and you are by yourself, you can kill minions. And the minion kills that you get will go to the minions that are your ally minions. And then you will get the assists off the minions. So then you can stack Gauntlet of Thieves completely on your own.
But that's Ganesh. That's beside
That's only Ganesh.
That's only Ganesh.
That does not work for anybody else.
But because you are assisting so much, you're getting that 7 just flat health and 7 mana back per assist. Per minion assist or per buff camp assist.
And so when fights start happening, it does help to have that sustain coming back, so that way you can keep pressuring them and keep protecting your carry at the same time. With this new blessing that they reworked, so they removed the MP5 and HP5 per minion assisted. Now they're just giving you a 7 MP5 and HP5 for 10 seconds, and it refreshes during.
What he just said made no sense. He said they removed the 7 MP5, HP5. It used to be they gave you 7 straight HP and MP.
Sorry.
They're changing it to 7 MP5, HP5.
Correct. Thank you. So now it'll provide, like you said, 7 mana, 7 HP5 and 7 MP5 within 60 feet of an ally god.
And I know some people might be confused what MP5, HP5 means. It means health per 5 seconds. It doesn't. It means the amount of health you gain over the next 5 seconds, basically. I know I was confused on that for a long time until pretty recently. I want to say a couple months ago, and so I was just like, it just gives you extra health regeneration. And the MP5 HP5 means per 5 seconds, just
correct,
so that you people know.
So it lasts for 10 seconds, and it also refreshes if you get close enough to an ally.
If you're still within that 60 feet, correct.
So what I'm seeing, especially towards mid game, support will go run into lane, have the carry or the mid clear it, get that 10 seconds, and then he's free during those 10 seconds, still getting that MP5, still getting that HP5, to go do whatever he needs to. So if he needs to go assist solo, he's still getting that buff while he's walking or running over there.
And then once he gets back in that lane, he then refreshes that buff and then is getting that back. I thought it was only going to last for like 10 seconds and it has a cooldown that it has to proc off of. But now that now that we've read the actual patch notes, knowing that it refreshes while you're within allies, I think is a lot more beneficial than having to wait for assistance on minion kills or assistance on pretty much anything. You have to wait for something to die in order to actually keep yourself alive. Now you can just take it out.
Especially early game and dueling when you're playing a little bit more of a safe peel-oriented support, and they're playing a little bit more aggressive support where their version of peel is getting in your face. Some of those minions stay back by the carry, and you're out of your bubble, or they're just not dying because you can't kill them, especially if your carry got killed or your carry had to back or whatever. So you can't kill those. So in this particular instance, you'd probably still be getting that HP5 and that MP5 when before you would just be SOL.
And I was just going to say, this is a good example of how High Res wants to change duo lane, where they want to keep people in the duo lane versus having the support roam. And it's a fine fine thing that they're doing. A lot of the times you want your casual players to learn the game instead of trying to copy the SPL.
I mean, there are some things you can. I've been watching the SPL for at least the last 2.5 years. From the 4 years that I've been playing this game, I've really been just doing things on my own. Maybe a year and a half ago, I started watching the updates, the update shows, and realizing how it's implying to my gameplay, to what I can do, how what God pulls to pick, what I can focus on, what I can try to master, what I can try to get better at. And with having more people to play, I mean, with Conquest, there's a lot of things you want to try, but there's a lot of things that you're not ready for, and sometimes it takes a rude awakening, and you just get completely smacked, and you're like, all right, I'm never doing that again. Not only is like we've been saying, they're trying to keep the dual lane in lane, but they're also trying to keep all of us casual players and ranked players. This does go all the way up to ranked. Mm-hmm. Ward. You cannot not benefit from Vision.
Is your best friend.
But that's only the support's job.
Oh yeah, no. If your support's not warding.
So
F7.
Anyway, the reason we're on warding now is because Hi-Rez is adding a new relic called the Vision Shard.
So this relic isn't going to replace any. I mean, you can obviously still keep it once you hit level 12, but starting at level 1 in Conquest, you will have a secondary relic that is free to get rid of once you hit level 12. You can pick any relic you want starting off, but you will have this secondary relic called Vision Shard. Basically, it's going to give you a free ward to place so that you can see. Anybody who does not use this ward needs to go back to bots. Because this is literally the one way you can learn how to find out where the enemy jungler is coming from, where rotations are happening, and it can it can improve your gameplay.
That's the word.
Thank you. Yes.
I love how it's the word you're trying to say and not what you were saying. Anyway.
I know. Shut up. Call you out. We're not calling anybody out like that.
we're only saying
it's to help, because when it's primarily for the dual lane, because mid laners can have a ward. They'll have a free extra ward. Solo laners, they don't really need wards all that much. They know where the jungler's coming from. It's a matter of when.
Especially now, or with this new Conquest map, the jungler has to either come out of Fire Giant side, or they're gonna be going around to duo lane.
Right.
There's no real other option for ganks into mid lane now.
Right. No, I mean, for the duo lane, there is more opportunity of attack from the jungler's standpoint, because they can sit and wait for you to push too far, get locked down, and then there you go, double kill right there for you, and then you're behind now. Mm-hmm. With these new wards coming, I mean, they're not going to last as long as the wards they have in place. These new wards are going to last about a minute. You're not going to receive any gold when they're killed. I don't even know if you're going to receive any gold when they spot an ally.
I don't think you do.
Which is another reason to ward, because the more you ward, the more people you see, the more gold you get from each enemy you see. Do you know that?
I did not.
I did not.
Yeah. The more people you see, you get, when you spot an enemy, you get gold from that, like 15 gold per enemy. So, ward.
But, okay, so these wards are going to, like you said, last for a minute, but they're also going to have a smaller range, but they're also free, and they're on a recharge.
Yep.
So you don't have to keep buying wards from the store. The store-bought wards do have a bigger range. They last for 3 minutes, but they also give you, like you said, gold, and they're a little bit more permanent. They allow you to see a bigger field of vision, just to have
So something to note with these wards is they last for 60 seconds, like we said, but the cooldown is 120. So mathematically speaking, you should have vision on whatever point you need, be it the same point or you've cleared that first tower and you're moving your ward, for literally half the game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
For free.
Or I guess technically a quarter of the game until you hit level 12 and replace it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even if you keep it for whatever reason, because having an extra ward is kind of nice, an extra free ward, it still at least have half of the game.
At level 12, you buy wards. and remember to place them.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like I said, this is basically it's to help players be able to tell where vision's coming from, call out rotations, call when the enemy junglers come in. I mean, it may even cause an improvement of the VGS system.
It might do that, and it might also improve people's map awareness, which would be really nice for some people.
What's that?
Yeah.
Map awareness, why would I use that?
No, our support has no map awareness whatsoever.
That's why he rotates whenever he rotates. But that's also another thing. Whenever you have a duo lane, like a carry in the duo lane, saying, come help me, and pings the jungler that's across the map on solo lanes, like, what is he supposed to do? He's not rotated over on your side.
That's why you run global ultimates.
That's why you run jungle, I think.
That's why you pick a god at level 5 and start out. That's it. That's all you have to do.
Of course, you're used to the idea of wards pricey, but I mean, you've been playing with us for however long you've been playing.
Anybody who plays with us, we always try to implement the use of wards. Even in Joust, we ward. And you know why we ward? Because we want to make sure when we're taking a blue buff invade while people are too busy fighting over the red buff, you don't have any sustainment.
Yeah.
We take your mana.
Blue
what
buff
are you
is
going to
almost-
use to fight us?
Blue buff is almost
That
more
red
important.
buff. For 3 of us.
Gonna be honest, blue buff in Joust is almost more important than red buff is.
I will absolutely